All right, I guess I'll lead us off. Uh, Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Really looking forward to it this weekend. After the start to the season, just kind of grand scheme, what's been the overall vibe of the team this week?
Yeah, thank you guys for your time too and covering us. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, that's what we wanted to do is have a really good start and when you win two games, you feel good and I think we're also just really happy with our effort to start the year. It's a lot of practices leading into that first weekend. So just yeah, really happy with the team. I think they feel, pretty excited about that start and now we're focused on Cornell.
Through those first two games, what were some of the takeaways? What were things you liked, and maybe some things that you highlighted in practice this week?
Yeah. A lot of good, I mean, our whole lineup was involved. I think one thing, obviously, we put the puck away pretty well. We scored 8 goals in those two games, and whether we scored or not, we really wanted to be creating offense, which we did a really good job of. So love that. Want that to keep improving, become more dynamic as we go here offensively. But that was a really good start. Our penalty kill was great. We had to kill 3 penalties on Saturday in the third period, and don't want to put ourselves in that spot. But yeah, just did a really good job, and then for us, the power play was 0 for 8. I don't think, too concerning because we're really creating a lot on that too. We easily could have had, a handful of goals on the power play, but certainly need to make some adjustments, and that's been a focus. But overall, just yeah, really like the way we played together, and we were working all weekend. So really good signs.
I'm sure the dominating win feels good against St. Michael's, but from the coaching perspective, that UNH win, being able to go on the road, get down early, find a way to grind it out and win that game late. You mentioned the penalty kills in the third. Just how happy were you with the group and the way they were able to fight through and find a win?
Yeah, I mean that's totally it. It's what a great experience to have in a second game of the year. And like you said, we were down for a while. We had a 5-on-3 that really was not very effective, and that could have been frustrating too because that was we were working to tie it. But just love the patience from our group, a lot of composure on the bench. I thought we were playing really good hockey through the first and second period, and it's just we didn't have much to show for it. So just to stay the course, I thought our bench was really locked in. We, just really focused on what habits were going to get us where we wanted to be. And, Carla's goal was pretty awesome for a first career goal. And then from there, I mean, she even said it on the bench when she came back. Like we got a couple minutes left here to lock it down. So had a 5-on-6. There's things there we could improve on, but overall, it was a really solid 5-on-6. Got a lot of clears, helped make things a little bit easier on ourselves. So just really good experience in a lot of situations, and that should give us confidence moving forward.
How pumped was the team for Ainsley getting that first collegiate win? I mean, you look at the numbers last year, and she had a great season. Sub 3 goals against, 920 save percentage. But to finally get that first one over the line, how happy were they for her?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was pretty special to give her that puck. I told the team in that moment, like, this is about as well earned and well deserved of a first win as you can find. And just, yeah, I mean, the whole group mobbed her after the game, and then everybody was looking for the puck. That was their first thought. So, they're playing for each other. I think our group really loves to play in front of our goalies, and for Ainsley, it's just they know she's going to compete in there. She's going to have their back, and they were very excited for her. We're all very excited for her to get that out of the way, and more to come.
It's such a luxury to have a tandem in net, which you have with Ainsley and Emily. Is that gonna going forward? Is it with these weekends? Are you expecting that 1-1 split in the two? Is there a way Izzy gets spot starts in between the pipes? Really, what you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, it's a that position for us. I think those are three of our hardest workers. I think we have a ton of depth at that position, and we've talked to them about, I think it's just early to really have a choice at this point. I think it's still an internal competition, which is really good for us, and they know that. So they're working, you work during the week, right? Like we're in the middle of that in our preparation right now. And yeah, they're competitors. They're competing with each other and creating a really good group too. So it's I think we're gonna see different goalies every weekend and especially early here, kind of sort it out as we go. And they'll be competing, which is good for all of us.
And then with the first year class, I know there was a ton of excitement with this group coming in. One of the most daunting things can be just that jump to the new level, especially with the speed of the game. How did you think they fit in right away?
Yeah, I thought they played really well. They were, like obviously Izzy is a goal. He didn't get in last weekend, but all the position players were in. They were involved, logging big minutes. Three on the back end are playing a lot in basically every situation, doing a great job defending, still learning, and adjusting. It's only 2 games in. And especially late, just how to manage games. I think that'll be something we continue to teach. But and up front, I thought, Carla obviously had a big goal, such a smart player, had a ton of plays throughout the weekend. Same with Ellen Morgan. And they honestly, those three weren't on the score sheet much, but I think what they provided was pretty invaluable to our success this weekend, and driving possession, hunting down pucks, winning faceoffs from Morgan. I mean, they were all three of them doing really good things all across the ice. So I think they'll be more and more impactful, production wise, but either way, they're playing really really well right now for early in their college careers, and excited for them and really our whole group to keep adjusting, keep getting better.
No, last one for me, Coach. I'll be on for the Cornell game. What stands out about the Big Red besides just the talent they have? What are some things when you watch them on film that really stand out that the Big Red do well?
Yeah, I always love the way Cornell plays, and they're talented, like you said. They have active D. They move the puck well. They transition well. They have good speed. They play hard. I think they're a really good combination of talent that doesn't let their talent do everything. Like they work, and we have a very similar mentality, and I think it's going to be a fun, fast game. But those things stand out. You start standing around, and you're going to be in trouble with them. So we got to go at them, be ready for the speed. That's something we wanna. That's how we want to play too, fast and physical wherever we can. And I think it's going to be a really good test for us this Friday.
Coach, thank you so much. Really looking forward to it.
Thanks a lot.
Amanda, you want to go?
Sure, Coach. I'll be the sideline reporter for the game Friday night, tomorrow night. What? I
Whatever
couldn't
day it
tell what
is.
day it
Yeah.
was. Friday. I would just love to know if so far, obviously still very early, if you've had anyone emerge as a leader that maybe you weren't expecting, or maybe their role isn't what you thought heading into the season.
Yeah, it's a good question. I had a similar question last week, and I just feel like, it was sort of like who has surprised or who might surprise us this year. And my answer was just kind of like the whole team. I think the whole group, the incomers they're a really strong class. They have great experience that's going to be able to play college hockey right away and have an impact. And then our returners, I just think they're a really resilient group. They've been through a lot, and I think that experience is helping us. And we're in the middle of a build or a rebuild or whatever you want to call it, and in turning things. So I think a few who probably stand out. Emily Hammond came back in really great shape. She's playing big minutes for us. She was killing last weekend. She's on the power play, and she's a great communicator. I think really doing a good job in a leadership role that way. And then Kira Lai, same thing, defender of the week, I believe, and just had a monster weekend. And she had a great first year, a lot of experience last year. But I think what we're seeing now is just taking that and now using it to help. Obviously, AP, her D partner, is a first year player, so you see some leadership there. Same with Kaylee McDonald, providing that for Bella Finnegan, Annie Sun with Emmy Biotti. Like all those D have just done such a good job to use what they know to help our first year. So I think it's up and down the lineup. Our captains are phenomenal. I think they deserve a ton of credit for where we're at the start here. And yeah, just we always say like we want leadership from any seat and every seat, and those would be some spots I think we're getting it right now.
Great. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Coach, for the time. Really appreciate it as always. Just a couple from me. Tyler covered a lot of it. Curious, sort of going from last weekend to this one with a different level of talent, I'll say, between St. Michael's and Cornell and Colgate. I'm wondering, how much you're willing to share, or if at all the message to the group is different this weekend versus last weekend, when I gotta expect that at some level you expected to win at least Friday, and obviously you want to win these games, but it's going to be a big level up in talent on the other side. Do you approach it the same exact way, or do you tell them something different?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's pretty consistent. Like ultimately, that's the importance in focusing on ourselves. And obviously, we're scouting, and that's a piece of what we do. But it's a pretty small portion of what we do in terms of like it's just so important for us to focus on ourselves, keep getting better. It's so early. There's so much for us to focus on our own team, and we want to be the best at getting better. I think that's how you become a really good hockey team in January and February. So it's really more focused on ourselves and any opponent we have. Like we go into the game expecting to win and maybe more than expecting to win, like expecting to work to win. And that's going to be no matter who we play. I think it's going to be a great test for us. I think Cornell is a top five team right now. So I mean, to get that test early is pretty fun. Same thing with Colgate, excuse me. So I think for us to be able to have that opportunity, that's how we look at it, as an opportunity to test ourselves. And ultimately, it just doesn't matter who lines up across from us. We want to be consistent in our effort, and should be pretty fun.
And then on your forward lines, notice that it's all underclassmen, the top six, and then you paired the vets all together. It looked like, from my perspective, with the three juniors on the third line. How, you know, static are you with your lines right now? Are you still trying to feel them out and maybe switch things around? Did you feel like the chemistry between those groups was good and you want to stick with it? It looked like you went with the same trios on Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's one of those things where consistency creates some certainty, so that can be really helpful. And then at the same time, I mean, it's October. We haven't even hit Halloween yet. So it's going to be a time of year where we'll adjust things a little bit. And I just think as far as how we played last weekend with those combinations, I thought that went really well. You're always looking to balance obviously playing styles and if the ages, that's not something we really like look at when we're making the decision. But I do think, if you're looking at that junior line, they have a ton of comfortability together. They've played together for a couple years now, and I thought Zoe Gell and Brooke they had a really good weekend. I mean, they were putting pucks in the net, but more than that, I thought they were tracking back really well. They gave us great penalty kill minutes. I mean, those guys just had an awesome weekend. And so then it's hard to break them up, So there's always like those things going in, but we'll have little tweaks here and there and try to sort it out as the season goes on, and just continuing to be adaptable with our lineup is probably the most important thing.
And then last one from me, Mike and I were commenting on Friday a lot about how often it seemed like your forwards were using the points in the offensive zone. Is that a point of emphasis for you, generally speaking? You want to use your defense when you're established inside the zone?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say in general, like offensively, we want all five active, all five in motion, all five involved. So, depending on who we play, I felt like the low to high was there quite a bit Friday. Um, I thought UNH did a really nice job down low. I mean, they blocked a ton of shots dot to dot and below the dot. So, then things you got to like become more dynamic and have other strategies. But ultimately, I think where we want to get to is everybody's in motion, finding white ice. That includes our D. I mean, our D, they are offense. A lot of them are very offensively minded, which I think is great for us. And yeah, I think expect them to keep being involved and continuing to use all five when we're in the ozone for sure.
Hey, Coach, always appreciate the time. Mike and I will be on the game on Saturday against Colgate. I know focus is on Cornell for Friday, so I don't want to look too far ahead. But one of the things that we've always talked about in these conversations is just the culture piece and what you're building there at Harvard. I know year one's usually like, hey, like year one, you're learning a whole bunch of things, and then year two is really like a solid, all right, this is what we learned, this is what we have to do. Where do you feel like you are now in year three and building the program and the recruits that you have coming in?
Yeah, I think we're getting ourselves above water a little bit. There's just so much, when you start and especially, we started late that first year, so we were still just joking about it with some of our players the other day, how like at this point a couple years ago, like we were still getting to know their names and their families and what was important to them and where they're from and what makes them tick and all those things. And I really feel like we spent probably 2 seasons doing that, and that's something that we're still doing. But yeah, just I think we're juniors now as coaches, and when you're a junior, you just have that experience, and that goes a long way. This is taking time, and that's what we expected. And I think where we're at right now is just more familiarity, more comfortability. I think our juniors and seniors are really leading the way for us, and we feel that too as coaches. We're right there in it with them, and we've had a stretch together now. And then, when you start to get players in who you've been part of their recruiting process, it's kind of the same thing where you have the benefit of like you've known them since they were 16. When we got in here, we were meeting a 21 or 22-year-old for the first time. So when you have that runway, it's really helpful. So this group, yeah, really excited about our first years and kind of how they've established themselves already, and we'll keep leaning on them. And I think that it starts to you start to get a lot of momentum from that, I think. So that's exciting, and I just think the whole group has come together really nicely between our first year group and then our returners really like showing the way, and that's pretty fun to see as a coach.
Awesome. Obviously, with Colgate coming in and the focus with Emma obviously being their leading scorer for your team specifically, where you're kind of trying to hone in on that defense, what are you gonna do to slow down a player like that, like Emma, who can score, who can find opportunities, but also facilitate for her teammates?
Yeah, she's a good player. I've watched her for a long time. I think she's one of the best in our league, and I think they have a ton of talent up and down their lineup. And they came, it's kind of the schedule has flipped, right? So they came into our building what feels like kind of recently or at the end of last season. And I thought that one went to overtime. I thought we played such a good, like strong, tough defensive game, and I think we were very frustrating in terms of how we were defending. And so it's really the same plan. You can't defend her one-on-one. You can't play man on man against her and expect it to go well. So we're gonna use, our structure, which is really using each other, having good layers, playing tough physical hockey to get to our net, and just got to eliminate the high quality chances. Obviously, we're gonna lean on our goaltending too, and we want to have the puck. If we have the puck and we're possessing it, which is something we want to do more and more and drive possession, like you're not scoring on us if we have the puck. Hopefully, in theory, right? Knock on wood. But by and large, that's the case. So that's kind of the recipe for us, and I think that's something that we want to continue to do is play really tough and expect to have the puck ourselves.
Awesome. That does it for me, Coach. These guys asked some great questions, so I'm good. Mike, if you have anything.
Hey, Coach, thank you as always. Just one from me, and it's player specific. I know we talked about the first years a lot, but Friday watching the game and Saturday watching on TV. But Friday, Alex, quarterbacking the power play as a first year, and she almost was like a water bug out on the ice. We used to say, she gets from point A to point B like incredibly quick. Her skating obviously seems to be second to none, but just coming in, taking over that power play group, and really, I know you haven't found a goal yet, but you saw some good things. So how hard is that for her as a first year to kind of step in and come in as a big role there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty fun to watch. You said it, she's a great skater. She's got good speed. Honestly, didn't get a lot of Division 1 looks. I'm assuming because of her size, but that's a kid who makes it that her size doesn't matter. She just has the will. She works. She's so competitive, and I think, yeah, just that's been a good natural spot for her to be at the top of the power play. And I thought she's done a really good job distributing as well as, taking shots when she has looks. So obviously she scored from up there too, and she's just had a really good start. It's been fun to watch, and really any of those opportunities coming early to those guys, like they're working for it just like anybody else. I think there's good, more and more competition throughout our lineup for whether that's power play time or whatever it is. So fun to see early on, her having some success up there.
Awesome. That's it from me, Coach. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. Anybody else have questions for Coach?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for covering us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks. See you this weekend.
See ya.